Greg Woods playing those keys for you to put you and your spirit in the mood on Sunday morning here at Cityside. Those of you here in the flesh, physically with us, welcome. And those of you out there, we miss you. We're so glad you're with us. How fickle my heart and how woozy my eyes. I struggle to find any truth in your lies. And now my heart stumbles on things I don't know. My weakness I feel I must finally show. So lend me your hand and we'll conquer them all. But lend me your heart and I'll just let you fall. So lend me your eyes, I can't change what you see. But your soul you must keep totally free. How fickle my heart and how woozy my eyes. I struggle to find any truth in your lies. And now my heart stumbles on things I don't know. My weakness I feel I must finally show. In these bodies we will live, in these bodies we will die. Where you invest your love, you invest your life. In these bodies we will live, in these bodies we will die. Where you invest your love, you invest your life. Awake my soul. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. 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 Peace inside my mind, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside my mind, God to see. Peace inside my mind, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside my mind, God and only God I live to see. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Love inside my mind, God and only God is moving me. Love inside my mind, God and only God I live to see. Love inside my mind, God and only God is moving me. Love inside my mind, God and only God I live to see. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om. Yes, I said Om. God inside my mind, peace inside my soul, love inside my heart everywhere everywhere I go.
Thank you, Tiffany. That was beautiful. Good morning, Cityside. Welcome. It is so good to see people in the room and to see people that are online. So welcome, welcome. If you're joining us on live stream, or if you are here for the first time, we especially want to welcome you here. This is a wonderful place to meet and greet and to share. You can always join the live stream by going to our website and clicking on the Watch the Online button at the header. One of the features of our websites is our Sunday Bulletin. By using your phone, I have a red one over there, to go to the calendar page and select today's date, you will be able to follow along by clicking View the Sunday Bulletin. And you can do that anytime in the week. At Cityside, we are about practical spirituality that you can use to create the life you want and live. We embrace new thought and wisdom paths and are affiliated with the Centers of Spiritual Living. We honor all paths and we practice oneness. What we really are about is providing a supportive community, a supportive spiritual community, where you can explore your own spiritual path and connect to the Spirit and the wisdom within you. Our licensed spiritual practitioner, Judy Reiniger Meza, is holding visual for us today. That's a meditative state holding the space for us to have a transformative experience. We are a social friendly media community, and we appreciate everyone helping us to spread out the word among your friends and family and the world at large. You can share the live stream link or check in on Facebook to let everyone know that you are here. Now, our theme for this fall is exploring your true self, and our focus for September is exploring the spiritual self. Today's licensed spiritual practitioners, Gordon Dickinson, Jonathan Hoffman, and Rob Wozniak, will be sharing their experiences using prayer to access your true self. Now, since I've started this path, we have 8 spiritual practices. And I think the most powerful ones that I have used and are using every day is meditation and prayer. And in my life, prayer has, well, you know, we all have drama and trauma, and everybody does at one point in their life. And I have found it to be powerful in manifesting what I want in my life and also for healing. It is a wonderful prayer organization in the steps that they're going to share with you. And it does work, I can attest. Now, if you will join with me, and if you go online to the Sunday Bulletin, this will be printed for you, onliners, and it will be showed up. And you can please join me speaking out loud our vision and mission statement. Now, if you're online here in the bulletin, you will see it appear. So, together, we envision an empowered community that is living in a world of unconditional love in action. Our mission is to create safe spaces to explore and deepen our faith, to grow in a spiritual relationship, and connect with our authentic nature.
Thank you, Greg. I got voluntold by Eric Todd that I was going to do the prayer and meditation this morning, so I'm Reverend Amy Daniels. But you know, ministers are first practitioners. They spend several years studying to be a practitioner before they can be a minister. And today's a special Sunday because 3 of our practitioners, Rob Wozniak, Gordon Dickinson, and Jonathan Hoffman, are going to be talking to us today about prayer and how prayer has changed their lives. And as I was thinking about this, I thought, you know, in college, these young ladies that I went to school with wanted me to get up and pray at 6 in the morning, and I never would have done it. And now I pray early in the morning all the time because prayer is a fundamental part of our practice here, and it's a fundamental part of the teachings of science of mind, and prayer changes us. And that's the power of it. So I wanted to say a few words about the Cityside Prayer Team. It's an active, visible group of practitioners who are committed to supporting the mission and vision of Cityside by demonstrating the power of prayer to the community. And we've been offering prayer, the practitioners have been offering prayer on Sundays, responding to prayer requests that come into prayer@cityside.me. And they also reach out to community members periodically to pray. Rob, Gordon, and Jonathan have been leading a new offering, which we've been doing the last few months on the 4th Sunday of the month, and it is prayer gatherings. And the purpose of the prayer gatherings, which are online via Zoom and also, I think, in person in the room, is that it gives you a chance to experience affirmative prayer, to learn more about it, and to also be connected with community. So I know E.T. will remind you at the end of services, but today is the 4th Sunday, so we hope that you will join the practitioners on the prayer gathering. So we're going to turn to a reading by Ernest Holmes from The Art of Life. It was hard to pick a reading. There's so many readings on prayer in our teaching, but I picked this one because I think it models really how Ernest Holmes taught affirmative prayer. So I just invite you to receive these words, and then we're going to do a few minutes of meditation. Start with this simple proposition. Life is. It is natural goodness and kindness. It is peace, joy, and wholeness. I live in this life. This life flows through me. This life is in everyone and everything. Therefore, I am one with all that is, all people, all things, all events. Because life is in you, then the truth is in you, and the Spirit is in you, and the power is in you. If you will wait on this power, this truth and this light, they will guide you. One of the greatest things you can do is to learn to wait on the God power within you. Having felt the presence of the divine reality, we are next privileged to use the law of its being. Begin right now by saying, I know that the perfect Spirit goes before me and makes perfect, plain, direct, and immediate my way. I rest in calm peace and in absolute certainty that all the good there is devoted to my well-being. I know this is the truth about everyone. I view myself as a part of the divine union of all things. Therefore, I know that I am one with every person, every event, every situation that arises in my experience. I know that I bring forth from all persons and events which I contact the best that is in them. I know that I give back the best that is in me. So I just invite you to just turn within for a few minutes. And if it helps you to center your presence, just bring your hand to your heart. Just remember that this presence lives in you. It is you. And just breathe into that. We're going to sit in the silence for a moment, and then I'm going to bless the service. And so in this moment, I call on the presence of Spirit. I know this presence is a presence and never an absence. The infinite, eternal love and goodness of Spirit is ever and always present, and I am one with it, just as each of the beautiful people hearing my words are one with this presence, this power, this love that is responsive to them. So from this place of oneness, I speak my word of blessing on this service. I call it good. I bless Rob and Jonathan and Gordon. I know that they allow Spirit to speak through them. And I celebrate them as they share today their experience with prayer. I bless our music team, just knowing that they continually uplift us and bring their gifts. I bless each person who has stepped up to serve today, just knowing that they make the way for this experience. And I just bless each person who is connected to this service, whether it is right now or later in the week. I just know that in this connection, Spirit is present and all is well. And with so much gratitude, I simply say, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Amy. I can't seem to focus, and you don't seem to notice I'm not here. I'm just a mirror. You check your complexion to find your reflections all alone. I had to go. Can you hear me? I'm not coming home. Do you understand? I've changed my plans, 'cause I'm in love with my future. Can't wait to meet her, and I'm in love, but not with anybody else. Just wanna get to know myself. I know supposedly I'm lonely now. No, I'm supposed to be unhappy without someone. But aren't I someone? No, I'd like to be your answer. I would, 'cause you're so handsome. You are so handsome, yeah. But I know better than to drive you home, 'cause you'd invite me in, and I'd be yours again. But I'm in love with my future, and you don't know how. Said I'm in love, but not with anybody here. I'll see you in a couple years.
A little over a year ago, I was real excited to be in a new situation, a new work situation, at a new client doing the consulting work that I like to do. But after some time passed, I realized I was able to discern, much to my dismay, that there were two distinct sides that I'm working with. One was my employer, which had just built this really technically advanced reporting system. And the other one was the people at the client site who are trying to use this system, but can't. They can't get what they need from it, and it's too complicated. And really, both sides can't stop complaining about each other. And so for me, it's real easy to default to my, survival mode. Where I'm doing things like, hey, if I need to, I'll deliver a choice piece of gossip just to make people think that I'm on their side. But mostly, I'm just putting up with the situation as it is. I'm trying to survive. I have a strong belief that this is the way it is, and there's nothing I can do about it. And I start dreaming of how I'm going to escape this situation. And this is all happening on an entirely unconscious level. But the thing with me is that, I'm a practitioner. I've made a commitment to practice these principles, this philosophy, this way of life, science of mind, in all areas of my life, especially using the tool of affirmative prayer. So it's a conscious decision for me that I made to bring this aspect of my life, of my experience, into my practice. And on a daily basis, especially before, as I start my day, I'm consciously aligning with all that God is. Through the steps of affirmative prayer, particularly the recognition, the first two, the recognition, the unification, I'm invoking the qualities of the divine. So I'm recognizing that there is one life, one source, that is abundance, that is unity, that is freedom. And I am one with this source. This source lives within me. And so continuing on with this form of affirmative prayer, the invocation, which is similar to what Reverend Amy just spoke, I start blessing my day, knowing there's an abundance of opportunity for solution. I'm blessing my colleagues. I'm knowing the truth for them, that the truth that lives in me lives in them also. That they are one with abundance, with this creative flow, with this freedom, with this wisdom and intelligence. And this is really, my practice of accessing my, what we've been talking about this month, my true spiritual self. And the evidence for this is that really, the first thing I'm aware of is that there's a shift in my consciousness. And I come to this point of view or this realization that both sides are right. Like both sides are expressing a valid point of view, right? And I get freed up. I get freed up from my judgments, my judgments about, my colleagues that are wrong, that I think are wrong, or, for some reason I don't like, and I no longer have an interest in that. It's kind of like I'm above the battleground. And I've given up this resignation, gotten out of the way, and allowing something to emerge, something to demonstrate in my experience. And what that looks like, people start approaching me with solutions. They start asking me like, hey, do you think you can give us something that's like a summary of that really complicated system that's kind of intuitive and gives us what we need? Do you know how to do this? Now, the thing is like, I know exactly how to do that. That's what I do. I'm in the perfect right place. It's total divine appointment. And, by the way, that's not what I was brought into this organization to do, but it's what I end up doing. It's what I'm still doing. So what happens in my experience, this workplace goes from a kind of a place that's very stuck to a productive place. There's still challenges for sure, and but a lot of that complaining, a lot of the nasty kind of little gossip and things like that, has disappeared, and it's still a challenging place, but it's the kind of challenges that I look forward to. And just to kind of make sure bring some, keep it real, I guess is what I want to say. At the start of the pandemic, the team I'm working with, we got a lot of recognition in this really big organization because of we were able to sort of bring timely reporting to the business to let them know how things were shifting and what were the trends in the business at the start of the pandemic. And I remember this one director was going on about, well, if it wasn't for the work that Rob did and what he made available, and it's made such a difference. And I was really embarrassed by all that. And the reason I'm embarrassed is because my kind of ego self or my delusional self wants to think like, yeah, I contributed some really brilliant thing that was totally innovative and ahead of the curve. But that's not the case. For me, it was just getting present to what's so within me, allowing something to emerge through me, and just doing what I know to do, doing what's mine to do. So, I'll just kind of wrap up this little story by, kind of emphasizing that, there was a decision to bring this aspect of my life into my practice, of affirmative prayer, and of course, the meditation that, in my experience, are inextricably linked, like Connie said, and just allow that to transform my experience, and it continues to do that. So next, Gordon's going to go into a little more depth about the teaching aspect of affirmative prayer, looking at, how and why we pray. So.
Thanks, Rob. As you know, the Cityside theme for September is exploring the spiritual self. So our message today, as I think you know by now, that the practice of affirmative prayer is a powerful tool for accessing your spiritual self, which is your true self. Rob has shared one example of how prayer has made a difference in his life. In a few minutes, Jonathan will share an example of how prayer has worked for him. I'm going to spend most of my time talking more generally about affirmative prayer, but I will begin by saying that over the past several years, affirmative prayer practice is an important word here, really has shifted my way of thinking and my daily experience, as Rob said, and as Jonathan will say. While I still get caught up in the beliefs I developed over the course of my life, affirmative prayer has given me a tool that I use every day to raise my consciousness. It allows me to observe where I am, to see the thoughts and beliefs that are throwing me off balance, and then to claim the qualities that I want to manifest in my life and in the world around me. It has allowed me to let go of anger, which has been most often related to work issues, to let go of shame, let go of sorrow, that I've found is mostly related to family issues. It has allowed me to see that I do not need to be driven by what is outside, by what I see outside of myself. It has allowed me to know that that power and strength of spirit lives in me. It has allowed me to trust, to be present, to know that everything that happens is actually a gift, actually an opportunity. It assists me in embracing discomfort when that comes up, and knowing that love, peace, and joy, in fact, are my essence. Our experience, and this is kind of the principles of affirmative prayer, knowing that experience in life is a function of our beliefs. Our beliefs are largely a function of what the world of form has taught us throughout our lives, what we learned from our parents, what we learned in school, what we learned in our social interactions with friends and with work associates. These beliefs are not our truth. And if we can put up that slide on God qualities, and you won't be able to see it if you're in the room, but hopefully you will if you're online. And that just to sort of underline what I'm going to say next, which is the essential element of affirmative prayer, is recognition that we are all one with the power that I call God or Spirit, and that this power is the source of love, wisdom, abundance, strength, peace, joy, and other God qualities that are on the slide, and that live in our whole, perfect, and complete selves. When we really embrace this oneness with conviction and faith, we shift how we see the world. We can release beliefs that are false, divisive, and limiting. We can see life through the lens of love. Affirmative prayer is ultimately about releasing fear and embracing love for ourselves and for other people in our lives every day. As many of you are aware, affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment formally has 5 steps: recognizing, unifying, realizing, thanking, and releasing. Rob's talk focused, as he said, on the recognition and unification steps. And these steps are essentially a meditation that quiets our mind and focuses our attention on the spiritual truth that is our lives. Jonathan's talk in a minute, very soon, will focus on the realization step, which is essentially affirmation that what we want is already ours. Their stories illustrate how affirmative prayer can change our thinking and change our lives when we make prayer an ongoing practice, and we speak prayer with intention and trust that we are one with Spirit. And with that, I will turn it over to Jonathan.
Thank you, Gordon, and thank you, Rob. For those that don't know, Rob, Gordon, and I did our practitioner training together. And this was a few years back, so I'm just very grateful to be sharing a stage with the two of you today here at Cityside. And hello, my name is Jonathan Hoffman. For my portion of the talk, I want to build upon what Rob and Gordon have shared about affirmative prayer, and I want to move us into how you can use prayer to access your true spiritual self, your God quality self, the God qualities that Gordon shared on the slide, to use this to bring about the change that you desire to see in your life through prayer. But first, I want to share a very personal story with you. I haven't shared too broadly, but it was about 4 years ago in 2016. We had just finished the first couple of months of our practitioner training program, and I went to the doctor to get a colonoscopy. And I received a very troubling and very disturbing diagnosis. The doctor came to me and said, Jonathan, we've found a large tumor growing in your colon. It's likely cancerous, and it needs to be removed. So, as you can imagine, flooded with emotion, flooded with anger and sadness, and especially fear. And I protested. And I asked God, why? Why is this happening? I don't understand. I'm young for this disease. I eat right. I exercise. I don't have the genetic marker. This doesn't run in my family. Like, what's going on? This makes no sense. I felt like this diagnosis had just knocked me out to my knees, on my knees. And it brought me to a very low point where I recognized I had no control. And it's from that space, really the only place I had to look was up. Looking back, I can see the divine timing of just having started this 2-year practitioner program where I'm going to be immersed in spiritual teaching and truth and surrounded by individuals that will affirm my truth in prayer. Truth such as, I've got a slide here, I've got a few slides to share with quotes. But truth such as, in The Science of Mind, page 268, Ernest Holmes writes, true prayer must be, thy will be done. But the implication relative to the will of God in this prayer is not a submission to the inevitability of limitation or of evil, but it's a knowledge that the will of God is always good. So the will of God is always good. The will of God is always good. Do you believe that? If you believe that, say it with me. The will of God is always good. I think there comes times in our lives when we have to ask ourselves these hard questions and then have the courage to answer honestly if I really believe this in practice. Because if that's true, then for me, in my situation, I'm left to deduce that an all-loving God that only knows good is really just trying to get my attention here in order to bring something good into my life. So with a lot of love and encouragement and prayers from my family and friends and my spiritual community, and especially the practitioner group, I had the support to approach this diagnosis with a faith that all things work together for good, always, and an openness to see that which I don't understand. The very act of prayer is defined as opening up a channel of a communication between yourself, your consciousness, and the God of your understanding. Earlier, Rob talked about letting go and getting out of the way and making a conscious decision to turn to prayer. This was definitely an opportunity for me to get curious, to open myself up in the channel of prayer. I believe this opening, this surrender, this vulnerability, that's our soul's essence that creates alignment with the good that we are talking about, this good will of God. It's in this opening that Spirit's able to work in us. What I came to realize through prayer and meditation and support from those that I trust was that cancer was not the truth of my being. Cancer was not my spiritual truth. That, in fact, wholeness was the God quality of my true spiritual self. Wholeness. Wholeness being this idea that I am complete and harmonious whole. I am complete in myself. I'm not lacking in any way because God made me. Wholeness. Understanding that I am the perfect expression of who I am here to be in this world of form. Wholeness was the truth of my being that I had been missing. Like Gordon taught in the realization step, this is when you speak your truth as you desire it to be. This is when you affirm the good that you want to see or experience in the world. So in prayer, you are claiming your true spiritual self beyond appearances and trusting Spirit to bring these God qualities into being in your life. I have another slide here. This is also from The Science of Mind. On page 190, Ernest Holmes says, "The belief of the one praying sets in motion the law of love, which is the fundamental law of the universe." So this reference to the law of love is referring to the ever-givingness of Spirit, the ever-givingness of love, the ever-givingness of God. Make manifest my experience of God. It's the law that says God operating through all creation freely gives to anyone who can align in their mind, in their heart, and in their consciousness with the good that one desires to make manifest in your life. This is the teaching. So it was in the realization step of affirmative prayer that I began claiming my health and my wholeness. In faith, with conviction that I am whole. Also having prayer partners, having someone that can speak your truth for you when you don't have the strength to speak it or see it or know it for yourself. That's immensely powerful prayer practice, to have a partnership in prayer. Not focusing on the appearance of brokenness or this dis-ease they call cancer, but using prayer to affirm the good that I knew was the truth of my being. It was in this claiming of wholeness that Spirit began to work on me and began to pour forth goodness into my life. I came to understand wholeness in an entirely new way, an entirely new light. What I came to see was that I was being called into a greater acceptance of who I am. For all of me, I was able to see patterns of how I like to compartmentalize aspects of my life. I really like the bright, shiny parts, and I want everyone to see, but I don't like the dark parts. I'd rather pretend that they don't exist. I became aware of long-ignored aspects of who I am at my core that needed to be brought to the light and the love of truth, to the light and love of God, to be healed in my body. For me, my journey with cancer was a profound teaching of self-acceptance, of radical self-love, and of self-forgiveness. I believe that was the good that God wanted to bring into my life. So I have one more closing quote to put up. This is from the Bible. In Matthew chapter 7, verses 7 and 8, Jesus says, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and him that knocks it will be open. I heard this verse a lot growing up, but it was through my journey with cancer that its wisdom really became real to me. This verse sums up the power of prayer in our lives and highlights the importance of asking for that which you desire. I recognize and appreciate that prayer has brought me into a closer relationship with my true spiritual self, which I now recognize as wholeness, as health and wholeness. I'm happy to report that it's been 3 years since my last chemo and my last surgery, and I'm happy and healthy and cancer-free. I stand before you today as a witness to how the power of prayer changed my life for good, and I believe the power of prayer can change your life for good as well. My final message for anyone listening that might be facing some difficult situations, some difficult times, please know that prayer works and that you don't have to go it alone. Cityside Spiritual Community is here to help you know truth when you can't see it for yourself. I'm eternally grateful for the practitioner program and the support of the individuals that helped me through this challenging time. And I know the practitioners here are ready to help you as well. So I encourage you to always make a conscious decision to turn to prayer, to not be afraid to reach out, and to witness for yourself how prayer can bring good into your life, because it did mine. So thank you. And I've got a little ritual as we prepare to go to prayer. I just invite you to close your eyes, if that's comfortable for you, and turn within. Turn within to that still place inside of you. And I just invite you to think of any circumstances or appearances that are currently in your life that you can point to and say, that is not my truth. That is not my spiritual truth. That is not the truth of my being. Think of that. Now let's flip it and ask yourself, what is your spiritual truth underneath this appearance? What is the truth, the spiritual truth of your being? Whether it be, like me, wholeness for health issues, or abundance for finances, or love, or wisdom in relationships, or simply balance for a stressful life. Whatever that God quality is that you desire, just identify that. Hold that idea in mind. Whatever that desired outcome is, hold that idea in mind. Hold it in heart as I speak our closing prayer. Oh, here and now, together, I just pause on life, hit pause on the day, and I just sink into the here and now, present moment. For it is right here and right now that I recognize the one power and the one presence for good and back of all things. I call this power and this presence God. And I recognize it as love, as joy, as peace, as power, as wholeness, as abundance, as freedom, all of these God qualities. Just recognizing that God is. And I know that I am one with God. I am one with this one power, this one presence. And just as I know this to be my truth, I know this to be truth of everyone here today, everyone watching online, everyone watching later in the week online, that this is the truth of our being, that we are rooted and grounded in love, in joy, in peace, power, wholeness, abundance, freedom. This is our truth. No separation, only loving connection with the Most High. So it is from this place of oneness with all that there is that I just speak a blessing over our lives together today. I speak a blessing over each and every person. First and foremost, claiming wholeness for everyone, understanding all aspects are welcome because all aspects are of God. So just affirming this health and happiness and wholeness for each and every individual. And I speak a blessing over the Cityside community and for everyone that is watching, everyone that is listening, just knowing that there is a deep and abiding connection with a spiritual self that is never changing, that it is always there. It is always love, joy, peace. It is always the truth of these God qualities. And I just know that these prayers, that these ideas held in mind, these God qualities that are being desired to be brought into being, into the world of form in each and every person that hears the sound of my voice, I just affirm that Spirit is present, that love is active, and that there is a drawing of this God quality into each and every person's life, that this is an experience that just flows from their being through this channel of prayer and opens it up and brings that love, brings that joy, brings that peace, brings that wholeness. Whatever the God quality is, brings that out into the world of form, such that you experience, that it spreads beyond you to all that you come in contact with, that it spreads beyond four walls and goes out into the city of Chicago and across this country. Just affirming truth, affirming love, affirming your true spiritual self that has never changed. I just affirm all of this. I speak a blessing over each and every person as they head out into their week, just knowing that Spirit is close, that love is present, and that these God qualities are making themselves known in each and every person. So I am just grateful for the fulfillment of this exact prayer. I'm grateful for the fulfillment of this word. I am grateful to remind one another of the truth in prayer. So grateful. And energetically, I just release it. I release this prayer into the action of the law that only and always says, yes, it is done unto you as you believe. And here and now together, I affirm that we believe. So energetically releasing it, letting it go, and together we say, and so it is. Amen. Thank you.
Wow, that's great. I feel it all the way through. I think I forgot to introduce myself. I am Connie Hodak, and I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner. And I am very lucky to be serving in a group with these three marvelous men. Okay, Cityside is a community-supported organization, and each week we practice a conscious giving to support Cityside in creating the space and the experience for us to come together as a community. And I find that it is profoundly fulfilling to contribute to this community, both in time and talent and tithing. The reality is that it takes tithing, it takes money, it takes donations, it takes support to keep this all going, to be available for all who come. And we have 4 easy ways to give by going to the giving page on the website. There you can make a one-time gift using a debit card, a credit card, or a bank account. Set up a recurring giving, something that's just taken care of for you. Make a request to receive an address to give by mail, and they'll get the address to you, and you can send in your check. Also, to give, or it's text to give. You text the word give to 312-757-8111. And if this is your first time using the text to give, you will receive instructions on how to set it up. Then in the future, you will need to just text the amount to that number, and it'll all go through. To give in person, you can fill out an envelope and place it in the giving box over here on the side. Okay. Now, before we make our gifts, I want to invite you into a little ritual we do here at Cityside. I would encourage you to close your eyes if you're comfortable. Place your hands on your heart. Take a deep breath. Relax that body and just fill yourself with the life-giving oxygen that we all need. And think back. What happened this week that you were grateful for? What connections did you make? What events did you attend? What people did you get to see? What unexpected support and easy flow of funds did you receive this week? Turn that into your attention, to your donation that you're giving from your heart. Breathe that in. And then speak with me the giving affirmation we have, and it's online in the bulletin. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Thank you so very much for your support of Cityside. You're the reason we're here.
Good morning, I'm Eric Todd Rushing. I serve as Sunday Director here at Cityside. If you are joining us for the first time, we want to welcome you and thank you for blessing us with your presence. Please visit our website, hit the subscribe button in the header to join our mailing list. We would love to stay connected with you. Next week, we continue our fall theme, Exploring Your True Self. Reverend Daryl Jones will be kicking off our October theme, What Blocks Your Connection to Your True Self. And then, beginning on October 6th, join Reverend Amy and licensed spiritual practitioner Connie Hodak for Self-Mastery. Dive into looking at how to create your life from your sense of inner being. And then today, following the service at 12 p.m., join the practitioner team for the fourth Sunday prayer gathering. I know if you were in the room or if you were online, when Jonathan was praying, you could feel something was happening. If you are curious about that, if you want more of that, join online at 12 p.m. today for the fourth Sunday prayer gathering. You can access that link to join by going to the events page of our website. There's no registration required. You can also find registration for Self-Mastery on the events page of our website. So you can also get all those links every week in our weekly e-blast. And speaking of our e-blast, you may have noticed that it got a facelift in the past few weeks. So stay tuned in October as we begin to add more content, spiritual tools and tips from the Cityside practitioner team, hearing more from Reverend Amy and from community members about what Cityside means to them. So if you can never find the e-blast, start checking your email. And if you are not on our mailing list, hit the subscribe button in the header to join that list. If you would like to serve this community by supporting the check-in process on Sundays, we would be so grateful to have more community members serving in this way, and we want to thank AJ for manning the check-in today. And if you enjoy chatting and connecting with people online during the service, consider being a social media host. You can sign up for either of these things by emailing me at sunday@cityside.me or going to the Get Involved page of the website. There's a form you can fill out. And great thanks to our creative team for making today's service possible: Keith, Judy, Connie, Dom, Tiffany, Greg, Reverend Amy, and deep gratitude to Rob, Jonathan, and Gordon for really speaking from your heart. And lastly, don't leave with anything heavy on your heart. If you are wanting prayer and you are here today, please just stay seated and a practitioner will come up and pray for you. If you are watching online, you can go to our website under the support tab, click request prayer. You can fill out a request to have a practitioner pray over that, or you can make a request and a practitioner will call you and pray live with you. So until next week again, where we all come together in October, we start knocking down blocks.
Thank you, E.T. Thank you, everyone, for making this Sunday service so special. If you feel like standing up and stretching your limbs, please do, here in the space and out there. There's a place that I often go where I can find peace and rest my soul. Come on, everybody, I'll meet you there. There's a place that clears my mind. It's so close, it's not hard to find. Come on, everybody, I'll meet you there. I'm gonna meet you in the morning before the world begins. Give up the same old story, start all over again. Said I'll meet you there. That's right, I'm gonna meet you there. There's a feeling I can't describe, a destination you're gonna recognize. Come on, everybody, I'll meet you there. Oh, I said it's the gift that we resist the most. That's how you know it's what you need to go. Come on, everybody, I'll meet you there. That's right. I'm gonna meet you Sunday morning before the world begins. Give up the same old story, start all over again. I'm gonna meet you there. I'll meet you there, yes. Come on, let's break it down. Hey, I'm gonna meet you Sunday morning in Cityside. Oh, yes, I'm gonna meet you everywhere where we smile. Said there's a place that I often go where I can find peace and rest my soul. Come on, everybody, I'm gonna meet you there. Said I'll meet you Sunday morning before the world begins. Wait up the same old story, start all over again. I'm gonna meet you there. I'm gonna meet you there. I'm gonna meet you there. I'm gonna meet you Sunday morning. Have a beautiful rest of your week, Cityside.